live. I did not mean to put you that spot on the screen there. We are joined by head coach of the New York Riptide, Dan Ladouceur. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. It's only right because we had Jake Fox after Sports Center Top Play. With the legend that is Callum Crawford, we had to get the coach on too.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, the long lot forgotten coaches. Yeah, but those guys are where it's at. Jake Fox is a lot sure, and Callum's a legend in this league.
Absolutely. Well, so are you, and we're going to get to that obviously. So I cannot wait for that part of it. Well, thanks again for joining us. I searched around about you and found that your nickname is actually Big Dog, which I thought was pretty cool. It's one of the websites said that. I think it was Wikipedia actually gave you that. That was pretty cool. So I had to ask, did the Big Dog come from playing lacrosse? Give me your backstory, how you got into this whole thing. And also, I guess it all started with Whitby, where you're also inducted into the Hall of Fame over there.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. I played all my minor lacrosse in Whitby, right up through junior, through senior. I was very involved in the Whitby system when I wasn't playing. I was coaching my daughter's team, coaching out of the Whitby system for our Ontario or provincial teams. So very involved in the Whitby minor system, right through the Whitby Warriors, which is our junior system, and then right into the Brooklyn Redmen, where we won a Mann Cup in 2000, which
right.
For us Canadians, it's the Stanley Cup. It's the biggest trophy you can win in the sport. So we were able to do that in 2000, and then then I got an opportunity to try out for Toronto in '99. 98 I tried out, didn't make it. '99 I walked back on again, and I was signed to a roster spot. And I'm getting to the Big Dog thing. So my first game in the league, I was a healthy scratch. Second game in the league, the coach decided to dress me, and I walked into the dressing room. I didn't select a number, and I didn't select a nickname. Back then, you were introduced kind of Dan Big Dog Ladouceur, Colin Popeye Doyle, Glenn the Professor Clark. We all had nicknames. I didn't know what number I was getting. I didn't know what nickname I was getting. I just knew I was in the lineup, and I was going to make the most of it. So when I ran out on the floor and they said Dan Big Dog, that was the first time I ever heard it.
I got to give the credit to the media team there, whoever did that. You are 6'6", right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's I like that nickname for you. That's pretty good.
Okay. I'm glad you like it.
Big Pitbull might work too, because I looked at your like some of the highlights, and one of the first things that popped up was you and this rookie getting in like a little scuffle. It was Matt McLeod was the guy's name.
Yeah, from Rochester. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, this kid's a little tough guy. So those are your stats, and I'll be honest, you averaged less than a point per game in your career. But defenders, to be fair, do not do stuff like that. Anyways, they are the glue of the team. They're the Draymond Green, like for the Warriors in the NBA. So what was it like winning 5 championships and being really the glue guy on a juggernaut that is the Toronto Rock?
That when I look back at those championship teams, there's just so many, like you're calling them, glue pieces. Our leadership group was unbelievable with Jim Beltman, Pat Coyle, who coaches in Colorado, Glenn Clark, who coaches in Albany, Daryl Gibson coaches also in Albany. Just the people that we had back there, I was just lucky enough to be a small piece of that defensive core that just kind of, we made things difficult for offenses, and we had the best goalie in the league, Bob Watson, behind us. Like it was really just an honor to be playing with those guys and to be a small piece. And I was just fortunate enough to be part of 5 championships and, learn what it takes to win championships from a player's perspective. It's, people always talk about winning championships and what does it take? What does it take? You don't know what it takes until you do it. And the only way you do it is by getting it done. And you got to teach yourself. You got to learn for yourself. I can't tell you how to do it. You got to go out and do it. I can tell you the habits and the tendencies and the discipline of championship, caliber players, but nobody can show you how to do it. You have to do it for yourself. So I was just lucky enough to be part of some of those teams.
I've always admired guys like you because I've always said Michael Jordan, yeah, he's physically gifted, but he worked at his craft every single day. Like you be talented, but really it's whenever you put in that work and devote your life to a sport that makes you fantastic. I would assume. How do you tell guys like a young guy like Jake Fox, who I believe is younger than me, about that? Like how do you instill that into the guys of the New York Riptide?
Those are great examples like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. There's lots of people in there who Callum Crawford's a great example, and he's had a big influence on Jake Fox, and Callum is an ultimate professional when it comes to preparing for the game and preparing for seasons, physically looking at film, all of those things, and you try to get young people to understand that this. When I started in this league, it was kind of a flash in the pan. Is there even going to be a league next year? Now I have kids. I have people coming onto the team that watch me play. They've been able to watch this league and it's been around long enough that they could say, when they're younger, hey, I want to be part of that. I want to make that team. And, just to instill them the work ethic, if you want it, it's one thing to make a team in this league. It's another to stay. I always say it's harder to stay. Year 2 is always harder than your first year. It doesn't get easier. It's just like time. It gets harder as we get older. It's the same as being in a pro sport. It gets harder with every season to be at your best, to be a contributing member of the team. So you just try to instill that work ethic in guys and try to lead by example by being prepared myself and ready to do work and to put in hours and just ask the same of the guys.
That's awesome stuff. Speaking of those Riptide, and I hate to do this to you, but as a defender, I look at the stats, man, and the Riptide allowed 226 goals. They scored a lot as well, to be fair. But on a 16-12 team that allowed the most goals in the league, I know it may have pissed off the defender in you, but what did you take from this season, and what can you guys do moving forward without spilling too much beans here? But what do you guys do moving forward? What do you like about the team this year?
I mean, I look at that stat too, and it does piss me off. Nobody wants to have that stat line attached to them. Our offense did a great job offsetting some of our early struggles defensively, but I credit Pat Jones, our defensive coordinator. Like, we had a group of players that just have never played together before. We introduced some principles that they had never had before, and he got them on the same page relatively quickly, I think. And then I think if you look at the stats, if you did a deeper dive and not just your low-hanging fruit of the worst goals against the league, you'll see that, after the trade deadline, after we made some moves, we got Brent Noseworthy, we got Ron John. After we made those moves, you'd see a dramatic increase or improvement in our goals against. So I think some of it was guys learning to play with each other, learning new principles, and some of it was personnel, and we got some more pieces that we need. But definitely an area of focus for us was from the beginning and will continue to be going forward.
Well, yeah, even if you won at the championship this year, you always got to get better at something. On defense, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was, I talked to Jim Veltman, when we were getting ready for this adventure, and we always, in our Toronto Rock days, our impression or our experience in championship teams is from the goaltender out. So that's we're really happy with our goaltending duo. A lot to build on there, and then again, just improvements to make in personnel, as well as improvements in our execution of our principles and systems. And I think we're going to be okay.
That's awesome. I remember my co-host Aaron, who's not with us for the next 2 months. He is. We were both noticing the Riptide. We're like, oh, you guys are doing pretty well here all of a sudden. It was kind of cool to see our guys we had on the show first start to perform well later on in the season. So obviously there's hope on the horizon. And the colors are incredible, by the way.
Yeah, that seafoam green is really popular. When we gave that feedback to our ownership group, hopefully you take that away and get a little bit more in that into our merchandise and into our uniforms. I thought it was really sharp.
Oh yeah, and speaking of merchandise, if I can drive my last question here, I did want to talk about the PLL because they have an awesome, I thought NLL on ESPN Plus was like a dream come true for me. But PLL on ABC, that's got to give you guys some whoa, it's happening pretty soon here, right? NLL has to be ecstatic about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the relationship between the NLL and the PLL, needs to be strengthened. I don't know how interested the PLL is in, associating itself with the NLL. But you can't deny the work that Paul Rabel's done at that league, the partnerships he's fostered, the relationships he's built with like ABC and like ESPN, like all of that exposure. I mean, despite what happens with our relationship, that exposure to the game, to the sport, to the athletes that play in both leagues is nothing but a win for us. So we'll take all the exposure we can get. And, you know, our organization is doing great things too. Our exposure on ESPN this year was huge. Our exposure on the TSN was huge this year. Those are things that we didn't have for the last few years. So seeing that increase is a real positive. And, you know, seeing more teams come into the league, Las Vegas coming in this year, like there's a lot of growth happening, and we're doing it the right way with the corporate sponsorships and getting our product visible, because I've always said the product sells itself. So I'm happy with the way that we're progressing here.
I completely agree. I said before the break when I had you on, I remember like a Casey Powell like field lacrosse game, and I love lacrosse. But to me, box lacrosse, Nova's PLL, to me, NLL has a way better game just because of how fast and physical it is. I love it. I love them both, but I'm biased to the NLL. I'll admit.
No, I appreciate that, and a lot of people do like the physicality and the pace. The pace of the NLL indoor game is really what sells it. I mean, I'm watching playoff hockey, and it's exciting and stuff, but the offsides and the icings and the constant stops and the face-offs, I don't like that as much as the quick restarts that we have in our league. You know, you turn the ball over. If you don't put it straight down, you're going to the penalty box. We want to put the ball down, and we want to get it going again the other way. So I appreciate that that pace of play, and I think that's really entertaining for the fans. So I'm glad that's one of the adjustments the league's made.
I'm on cloud nine with that. Let's get to our final question here, because I know you're a Riptide guy. Toronto Rock obviously, I guess, has some homage to you as well. But Rock are playing the Bandits in Game 2 in a big win in a must win for Toronto. And Colorado could perhaps steal, after stealing Game 1, now has got the Seals on the ropes in Colorado, which I think is a great home stadium. Who wins? Not like the entire thing. I'm torn. I think all teams have great home field advantage. All teams have great players. I don't know who I'm going for.
If you're asking me who's winning it all this year, I'm really backing Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to see them do well. I want to see them do well from my one of my friends, Pat Coyle, who's the coach there. Who's, you know, he's done amazing things in this league with that group. You know, I just think he's the salt of the earth of the person. Just a great guy. I want to see him do well. I want to see him have success. I think Dylan Ward deserves this as well. There's a guy who's been in this league for a long time. He's put in hours. He's put in games. He's playing probably some of the best lacrosse of his life right now. So I'd like to see him have success in this year too, with an NLL championship. And my boy Zeddy Williams, he was out there, and you know, we do have, you know, Daryl Gibson, who we traded at the deadline there. I'd like to see, Tyson Gibson at the deadline there. I'd like to see Tyson have some success out there as well. So there's a few people out there that I'd like to see have success.
And no doubt, as a coach and a former player, you can kind of see their championship tendencies, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I really, you know, now in this position I am now, I watch for in-game adjustments by coaches. What are they seeing and how are they making adjustments? And I like the way Pat Coyle has vision of the floor, has vision of the tempo of the game. And I like the way he also trusts his staff. You can see him talking a lot to his staff, to Andrew McBride back there, and just sort of working through problems together. And I like the way that they operate. So I'm really hoping they have some success.
I am so honored and happy that you came on the show today. I know it's been a couple weeks in the making. And any last words you want to say, or any last supporting things you want to say before I let you go?
No. Thanks for having me on. I just thank you for the support. Thanks to all our media partners and all the fans on the island. You know, I think we showcased something really good this year. Right. And I think there's more to come. The future here is bright, and we're very excited about bringing a great product to the fans on Long Island, and you know, bringing the championship caliber team to the island, to the Coliseum. So thank you for all your support.
Oh yeah, I look forward to having you and all the team members on the show as well. And I will catch you later, Mr. Dan.
Take care, my friend.